and we're going to chat about how you can create more compelling legal marketing videos. And I just want to make sure everyone can see my presentation. Cara and Mike, can you guys give me a thumbs up if you can see it? Okay, perfect. Thank you. And for anyone who's here, if you didn't see our last marketing mentor session, we did talk about specific content that you should be including in your legal marketing videos. So definitely make sure to watch that. Today, we're going to talk more about the logistics of creating more compelling videos. So I'll share what that means in a second. So let me see, I'm just pulling up live chat. Okay, so just an overview that I like to highlight for every one of these sessions, but we're all here because we want more clients for our law firms, and we're using marketing as a way to achieve that. And from my standpoint, marketing is really a numbers game. We need to get more qualified eyeballs to get more qualified leads to get more clients. So a video is a great way to get in front of more qualified eyeballs and to convert those eyeballs into leads and clients. My goal with each of these sessions is to make your firm growth simpler by making online marketing simpler. Online marketing can feel really complex, especially with all the new channels that are being created. What feels like every quarter, TikTok, Clubhouse, Instagram Reels, there's lots of new stuff happening all the time. And I really want to help you understand what kind of marketing is going to move the needle for my firm and what can I maybe ignore because it's just not that important right now. So anytime I'm thinking about marketing, I'm thinking about it from three standpoints. I'm thinking about it from how are we bringing more leads in? How are we then qualifying those leads? Because as you well know, not all leads are created equal and not all are likely to convert into clients. And then how are we nurturing those leads? Everyone we speak to that's a lead isn't going to be ready to make a decision right away. So how do we stay top of mind until they are ready to make that decision to hire a firm? So oftentimes when I speak with people who own a business or who own a law firm, there's so much focus on how do I bring in more leads, more leads, and more leads. And sometimes we forget that we already have a lot of people in our world who just need a little more time. They need a little more education, and they need to remember us, excuse me, before they're going to be ready to take that next step. So anytime I'm looking at any sort of marketing strategy or any sort of marketing effort, I'm thinking about, okay, well, how is this helping me bring new leads in? But also, how is this helping me qualify leads? And how is it helping me stay top of mind with my leads? And what I love about video marketing is that it does all three of these things. It's going to bring you more leads, it's going to bring you better leads, and it's going to bring you more sales-ready leads. One, video is going to help you get in front of more people. Two, the content you share in video is going to ensure better people contact you and take the next step. And the content you share in your videos will help people become more sales ready and help speed up that sales cycle. So I think video is a great marketing medium, and everything that we're seeing in the marketing world is that video is becoming more heavily prioritized, especially if we look at the way social media is going. So why should you use video in your marketing strategies? Just I'm going to kind of highlight three things that I think are really important. One, it's going to help you stand out from the competition. You and your firm are very different from all the other competitors that a prospect could hire. And a video is a great way for someone to get a really good feel of who you are, why your approach is different, and really connect with you as an individual and as the attorney they're going to hire. So I think video is a great way to stand out from the competition. No one else is like you, and what better way to convey that than through video, right? You're sitting here on this webinar with Cara, Mike, and I, and you're getting a really good feel of how I share information. And if you were just reading a written post by me, it would be a little bit harder to get a feel for my personality, what my expertise is, and why you might think I'm the right person to work with you, right? So I'm just trying to give you an example of how video can help you stand out from the competition. Second, video allows you to educate your prospects and convey your expertise. Contrary to how the world worked a long time ago, or not that long ago, but earlier on in the century, where you would go to the doctor would tell you what to do and you wouldn't question it. Now we have people buying where they really like to understand, what am I buying? Why should I buy it? I need to know all the ins and outs. We have prospects who want to be really informed before they make a purchase decision. And so by educating your prospects, by answering their questions, by informing them what you do, how you do it, you are then going to create that lead that's a little more sales ready. No longer is it enough to just have a business card style website and just say, hey, I do personal injury, give me a call. A prospect wants to know what's your specialty within that specialty. Why are you the right person? Have you handled cases like this? Hey, can you answer all my basic questions before I even consider paying you to take the next step? There's a lot of education involved, and video is a great way to do that in a really leveraged manner that doesn't require you to get on calls with everyone. So I really like video for that regards, because when we talk about lead quality, you don't want to get on the phone with people who aren't ready to buy. And a video can really allow you to answer their basic questions in a way where you create the video once and just keep sending it out over and over, or put it in a prominent place on your site or on your social media. And your prospects can become more sales ready without you having to spend more time on the phone. And last but not least, it's speeding up the know, like, and trust factor, which you may or may not have heard of in the marketing world, but essentially this speeds up the sales process. People like to do business with people they trust, especially when it comes to legal matters where the topic can be quite sensitive. They want to feel like they're in good hands. And spending time with someone on video really speeds up that relationship building, even if they're not in person with you, even if you're not having a phone call with them. They really get the feeling that they know you, even if they haven't actually spent that time with you. So let's talk about how to create more compelling videos and what the ins and outs of that look like. So step one, in my opinion, is you need to be able to stop what we call stop the scroll. So this refers specifically to social media, but people get bombarded with a lot of messages day in and day out. So think about how you scroll through social media on your phone, like let's say you're on Instagram, let's say on your Facebook, and you're really trying to catch someone's attention in the feed. Even if someone's on your website, we want to stop them so that they feel like, hey, I have to watch this video. And there's a few ways you can do that. The first is have a standout thumbnail image. I like overlaying text that encourages a click. So if you just saw my screenshot right now in your social media feed, that might not be enough because of just the sheer number of images for you to click and play the video. But if you saw my screenshot and then it said how to create more compelling legal marketing videos, you would then look at that and say, hey, I might need to play that, right? So you're going to stop the scroll. The only caution I'll give you on overlaying text is you really want the text to match the content that's delivered in the video. Otherwise, you create this gap in trust. So that's why I say here, don't engage in clickbait. So for example, I wouldn't put a title that's, I don't know, about the COVID-19 vaccine, but then in the video talk to you about legal marketing videos. That would feel like, oh my gosh, Lauren just kind of hooked us, but then didn't really promise on what she's going to deliver in the thumbnail. And that's a very extreme example, but I'm trying to make a point. So one, I love overlaying text. What's so nice about focusing on your thumbnail image is it's not that hard to do. And using Canva or having a graphic designer or hiring someone to really make sure the thumbnail image stands out just doesn't require a whole lot of work. And it's something you should be doing consistently for every video that you publish. I think using filters and colors that stand out, ideally with some high contrast, can again stop the scroll. So think about the next time you're browsing through social media, look at what calls your attention. You want to create a thumbnail image that's going to look somewhat similar. And then last but not least, you want to show your face or someone's face. Now, this isn't a hard and fast rule, but typically people are more likely to click when they see a human in an image. Again, not a hard and fast rule, really depends on what you're sharing, but if that lends itself nicely to the type of video you're sharing, then I would show your face, a team member's face, a past client's face, but someone on that thumbnail. Cara, is there anything else you want to share about having a standout thumbnail image?
I mean, I think you covered it in that area. I think the challenge is really that like scroll stopping image, right? And I mean, we're just so inundated. So anything you can do to kind of make that easier, I agree. I think you covered it there, Lauren.
Great. I think this is also an often overlooked but really important component is using the right size video. Different channels require different video sizes, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on your website, whether you're in Instagram stories, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're running an ad. Don't follow best practices and create channel specific videos, or at least resize for that channel. So this is typically just an editing trick. You just have to have someone who can overlay a video on different size backgrounds. And so if you don't have an editor that you're currently working with, I would consider, hey, is there someone I can get involved so that I'm creating one video, but leveraging it on a lot of different channels and making sure that it follows the right size for those channels. So for example, when Pinterest started, which the year is escaping me. But we had these really long pins that were really standing out. Well, when you had just a square image on Pinterest, people are just scrolling past that. So anyone who's posting on Pinterest knows, okay, we have to create images of this width and this length. The same thing goes for video. You really want to make sure you are using the right size. Otherwise, it'll get cropped in weirdly, or people won't notice it in the feed. So I think this is not that hard to do, but does sometimes require some technical prowess. Cara or Mike, anything about this that I might have missed?
Lauren, I was going to ask, because I hear sometimes, are you suggesting that attorneys sort of shoot unique videos for every platform, or can they kind of repurpose the content and kind of make it best suited for each social media platform?
I would start with the latter. Creating unique videos for each platform is a lot of work, and I don't know that that's the best use of your time as an attorney. I would rather see the same video, but just resize differently for each platform than creating unique videos for each platform. However, when you get a certain point and you're producing a lot of videos, you could create unique videos for different platforms. But honestly, I don't know that the work is always, the return on investment always justifies the work behind that. So I would first start with, let's just create the same video, but resize it appropriately.
Yeah. And then Kimberly in the chat asked if there's an app that could perhaps help with this. I don't know if you know something off the top of your head, or if we could provide it later, Lauren.
I think probably providing it later. Typically, it's whatever the video editing software is that your team is using. So, if you're shooting videos on your phone, there's apps that'll allow you to do that. But if someone's going in and editing the video for you, typically they would use their own editing software for the resizing.
Yeah, good.
Okay. And this, I think, is a overlooked but really important point. Recording videos on topics your audience is interested in will mean that people stop their scroll. So again, let's go back to the example I shared earlier. If I have a screenshot of myself and then I have text overlay that says, hey, create more compelling legal marketing videos, well, you might stop the scroll and click on the video because that's a topic you're interested in. If I create the same different video and it's on how to fix your sink's plumbing, well, if you're not interested in that topic, you're not going to click on that video to hit play. So as experts, sometimes the topics we think our audience is interested in isn't actually what they need to know, or it's a little too advanced for where they're at. So really understanding what are the common questions that your prospects are asking, where are they at in their current stage in the buying process? Like, are they interested in past client testimonials, or are they still really early on and just want to know, should I even consider bankruptcy or not right now, right? So really having a strong understanding of who your audience is and what they're interested in will make the biggest difference in terms of, are people even interested in this topic and therefore going to click play. Cara, do you see any challenges with this ever in the attorneys that you speak to?
Yeah, well, I think you bring up an important point, Lauren, because not only are you kind of talking about generating topic ideas that'll, of course, be interesting and resonate with your prospects, but the more you can kind of specifically appeal or talk directly to the potential legal situations that your prospects are going through, the more appealing that your videos will be naturally, right? So that's why we always kind of advocate for a collection of videos that cover kind of a broad range of not only, kind of overarching topics, but even kind of niche specific legal situations, so that no matter what your prospect is going through, assuming that, they're going through a situation that you're interested and able to help them with, you want to give them a tailored message, a tailored experience, right? That's one of the reasons we always talk about past case videos are really compelling and really popular for our subscribers. What we help them to do is talk about, outline, discuss past cases with those sort of varying fact patterns, so that your prospects are really, meeting you before that first appointment and really watching you discuss pretty specifically a situation that might be very similar to the one that they're experiencing. So, topic selection, it's critical, but it's also should be somewhat easy when you just take kind of a step back, think about those questions that you're getting from prospects, think about the kind of cases that you're looking to attract. What do you want more of? Let's serve that message out there. And that's kind of completes the circle, right? That will provide value. It will certainly educate and sort of establish you as the authority and the expert, but then it will naturally kind of organically bring back the type of cases and attract the type of clients that you're looking for and that you can, most help. So, certainly with our Marketing Amplifier program, one of the most sort of attractive offers, I think, is that we have tons of topics. Topic selection is, you don't have to worry about topic selection, but also, scripting and talking points. So, whether or not you want to kind of read a script line by line, we have many subscribers who prefer to operate that way. If you'd rather, have kind of higher level bulleted talking points so that you can have a little bit more room for some improvisation and, adding your own voice, we offer that level of support too. So just to kind of give you an idea of, how important topic selection is, but, if you take some time, you should be able to come up with a strategy and a plan pretty easily, I think. Lauren?
Yeah, and Lynn's asking, like, how do you find your audience and how do you determine your interest? And I'd start by looking at, okay, well, what specialty do I want to start creating videos for? So let's say you have a multi-specialty firm. Let's focus just on one specialty to start. And then within that, you may, to Cara's point, want to focus on a few specific types of cases. So that would be where I would start. The other thing I would list is, what are the frequently asked questions you get all the time? And what are some maybe past client testimonials that you can showcase? Videos don't always have to be of you. They can be of clients or past clients, and they can share their story. So you don't have to be the one selling yourself. Your past clients can sell you for them. So Lynn, I highly recommend that you, and I'll make sure that the link is included alongside this replay, but look at the last marketing mentor session where we really dive deep into topic selection and types of videos that you can consider creating. And if you don't mind just dropping your specialty in here, then I will let maybe Cara and Mike speak specifically to your specialty, and I don't see it up here in the chat above. Okay, so while I'm waiting for that, for Lynn to share, I think the second really important point on creating compelling videos is having clear audio. So this means don't rely on your computer microphone alone. I think purchasing an external microphone that plugs into your computer is going to allow for better, clearer audio. Second, record in a quiet room where there's no external competing noises. If we can hear, construction noise outside or another team member talking, it's really hard for the viewer to understand what you're saying. And so if there's a lot of noise going on, another trick is to use a noise canceling app like Crisp, which is Crisp with a K, K-R-I-S-P. In my opinion, clear audio creates for more compelling videos, and it ensures that people are going to stick around longer and listen to the whole video. Plus, it just creates a really good professional first impression. If I'm having a hard time hearing you, I'm just not going to stick around and watch the video. I'm like, oh gosh, that's too hard to hear. I have to do too much work to get the information I need. I'm going to go find it a different way. I find oftentimes people rely a little too heavily on their computer microphone, thinking that's going to be enough for a clear video. Mike, is there any audio tools that our clients are using that you think are working really well right now?
Yeah, to your point, I think that audio is probably more important than even the video quality. We're all used to Zoom these days, and the video quality I don't think is as important as, hearing someone clearly, precisely. If you're in there and it sounds like this, you're not going to want to watch it, right? So in terms of the technology that our subscribers use, we often send them just a little lapel mic, a lavalier mic that clips right to your shirt. You've probably seen this on news broadcasts and everywhere else. They're very inexpensive, but they do increase that sound quality by quite a bit. If you want to go a little bit higher into that, technological realm, you can get something like a Yeti microphone, maybe a podcast mic. Those are more professional. But in terms of just starting out, absolutely ditch just your regular computer mic and at least spend $15, $20 on the lapel or lavalier mic. That would be the best place to start. And then if you want to go up from there, plenty of opportunities and options.
I think too, think about the room where you're recording. Sometimes there's a really big echo. And so, if there's an echo, there's some things you can do to help with that. Even just like some styrofoam, that's not styrofoam, it's another material that I can't think of, but you can put a couple of those on the walls behind you that aren't being seen in the video, and that can make a big difference. So to our point, if the video viewer can't hear you well, they won't stick around. And then what was the point of creating that great video anyways, right? So we really want to set the video up for success by just having the right tools. Number 3, engage the viewer visually. So I think there's a few ways you can set up your visuals that are easy, but don't necessarily require an additional camera, as Mike mentioned. So first of all, pay attention to your lighting. There are lots of small lights you can purchase on Amazon so that you're not required to record at a specific time of day because you're reliant on natural light. So I'll give you an example. I have a professional light behind me, and when I turn it off, hopefully you can see this. Okay, you can't see me as well. The video isn't going to look as professional, and you're certainly not going to stop that scroll in the feed as much as when you have a light like this. It also just conveys a more professional appearance. People are paying you a lot of money to become their client, and you want them to feel like, hey, this is a premium experience. And, this attorney is presenting themselves in a professional manner. The other thing I would consider is your background. So what's behind you? Is there too much going on? Is it distracting? Is it too plain? Are people going to be looking around at what's happening back here instead of watching you and listening to what you're saying? I don't think that there's any hard and fast rules here, but just think about where are you presenting yourself and what does it look like? And then last but not least, think about your wardrobe and the colors you're wearing. How does it work with your backdrop? I think this is a really easy hack that people don't pay attention to often enough. So I wore this color on purpose today to show you guys how this works, but you can see there's high contrast between my shirt, the backdrop, and me. If I were wearing black, I would just look like a little floating head in the middle of a black background and a black shirt. And so this is another really great way to stop the scroll if you're not going to create a thumbnail besides a screenshot of you is, okay, there's high contrast and I see, this red color is going to catch my eye in the feed. So if you're male, even just like a colored tie or a brightly colored shirt can be something that can really help you stand out against your background. And even consider your branding, like how is your wardrobe going to play nicely with the branding colors that are going to be featured on the video? Cara, anything on the visual setup that you might want to mention?
I will mention, Lauren, that in addition to the microphone that we will send our subscribers, we also do send a little ring light. So, you know, it's so much easier to kind of have that quality setup, you know, so that we don't have to do as much work post-production. So that's kind of the goal is, you know, for really low cost, affordable, simple solutions can have a really big impact. So just keep that in mind. There's things that you can do, you know, that Lauren already outlined that really do, you know, kind of up the professional quality of the video. And, you know, it's important to not overlook those simple steps. Once you kind of get set up for the first time, it'll be easy to kind of drop back into that setup. It won't take you very long. You know, you'll flip your light on, you'll know exactly how your microphone works, and, you know, your background will be ready. Hopefully, you know, you have sort of a dedicated space to shoot these videos, and then it'll just be really easy and simple to kind of, you know, proceed in that way. But no, you definitely bring up some good points, Lauren. You can't ignore the, you know, the overall kind of setup and the look of the video.
So Kimberly's sharing that her boss likes to have his trophy fish in the background with blues and yellows. What are our thoughts? You know, I think the short answer is it depends. But what I'm hearing is a lot of contrast. So something that's going to stop the scroll. If fishing is something you're going to talk about in some of your videos, or it's going to be a way you're going to stand out from your competition, or it's a talking point for prospects, then I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And in fact, it can make your boss feel different than another attorney in that same field. So video is not just about showcasing your expertise, but also your personality and who you are as a person. And remember, there are certain things about your hobbies, your personalities, what you like to do that can really help you stand out from another attorney in your field and help people connect to you on a personal level. Okay, oops, sorry guys. So Ed is sharing, with all the video hearings and video depositions, a small amount spent on lighting and microphone goes a very long way. Yes. And to Mike's point, we're all used to Zoom at this point. So it's not like you need this super professional background, but just something clean and that's not too distracting. Like I wouldn't want to see someone's, and this is for exaggeration, but dirty laundry in the background with piles of laundry, because I'd be like, oh, you know, the room's a mess. Like, why would I hire them to handle my case? And I'm exaggerating for effect, but I think, you know, some bookshelves or in your office, there's nothing wrong with recording from your house once in a while too, but I would just consider what is the role of the video and where is it going to be showcased. So for example, I wouldn't do that on a video that's going to be on my website, but if it's a behind the scenes on my Instagram story and it's not sticking around for very long, and I'm just talking about a past case and sharing something that I think is important, or I'm talking about a hot topic, then maybe I would record from my phone in my kitchen. Right. So I think it really depends on the nature of the video and what its purpose is.
Lauren, I actually got a question recently on the virtual backgrounds. I'm personally not a huge fan of them just because, you know, any movement really sets off. Sometimes it'll cut off ears if you're, you know, it's really sort of awkward. So just kind of, you know, reinforcing, you know, Lauren's point, just clean, simple background is better than, you know, the Zoom digital backgrounds, or even like a green screen. It's even better than that because less editing has to occur kind of after the video. So just wanted to mention that too.
I think that's great. I also really don't like this for the same reason. And there are so many backdrops you could just purchase on Amazon. Like I know an attorney who has a patterned backdrop and they tape it up against their wall anytime they're recording videos, and it's plain, it's clean. And what's nice is something that's not too busy in the backdrop is you can overlay text really nicely on that. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But, you know, if you are just a talking head for the whole video with the way that we consume things nowadays, that can be a little boring visually and people can get distracted. So when you're overlaying text and you're dropping in other slides, this can keep the viewer engaged. And so I like the plain backgrounds for that reason, because it's really easy to drop in text on top of that without it being competing for attention. I also like breaking up the video with other visuals. So whether it's a slide, maybe it's a whiteboard that you're drawing on, maybe it's in a picture or, you know, an example of a chart, that's something you're explaining, but this can really keep people's attention. Think about how people consume right now. You could be watching Netflix and texting and scrolling on social media, right? We're used to doing a lot of things at once, and people can get very bored visually speaking if it's just your head, if the content is not super, super compelling and super engaging. So I think this is a great thing to do. And at James Amplifier, which we'll talk about in a little bit, we do a really great job of this, breaking up a video that we record of you with other visuals. The other thing I'd consider is adding captions. This is especially important for social feeds. A large percentage of video on social gets watched with the audio off and the captions on. And it's often something we overlook, especially if we're producing a video quickly and turning it around without doing a ton of professional editing. So consider, can I get this video transcribed using the service like otter.ai or rev.com and getting an SRT file and uploading it so there's captions. So it's not necessarily that the captions have to be professionally edited over the video, but having that caption file and being able to upload it to the channel of choice, even if it's YouTube, is really, really helpful. Cara, anything to add on the rest of the visuals there that don't have to do with wardrobe or backdrop?
I mean, certainly kind of adding, just adding kind of anything interesting visually really helps kind of break up and further kind of describe your message. I really like, you know, the whiteboard ideas, especially if you're not looking to kind of add text, you know, in the editing process. You know, you can just kind of do one take or maybe a couple takes, but, you know, not a lot of editing is required. If you're, you know, holding a small sheet or, you know, perhaps you're standing up. A lot of the attorneys that we shoot videos for, they've been telling us, you know, I feel more comfortable when I'm standing up. Can I stand up, doing something, kind of keeping your hands busy? Also, a lot of times just, you know, makes the delivery more natural and makes kind of the whole experience seem you know, more natural. So you know, it doesn't need to be like, we're not talking about like high production value. You need to like, you know, shoot all of this B-roll, you know, all over your city or anything like that. It's really just about kind of breaking it up and just, you know, better conveying the information. That's really what's important. And you know, one of the something that I want to mention is a video that we've been recently kind of starting to film for our subscribers. It's been really popular, is what we're calling kind of interview style role play videos. And these are great when not a lot of prep, you know, you don't have a lot of time to prep, but essentially what we're doing is you would, in our case, we are acting as an injury victim, for instance, and we kind of have a natural interview sort of conversation about my situation, or, you know, whoever is acting as the injury victim. And it's really just what the attorney is talking about every day, kind of really giving that insight into what a first conversation, you know, with you as the attorney would look like, what they can expect, what the intake process looks like a little bit, what they can anticipate will be asked of them. So this type of video really doesn't require a lot of additional kind of visuals added to it. It's really interesting on its own, being this kind of organic conversation, but I mean, it really takes down those walls and creates some transparency of, okay, like I understand, I can visualize how my first meeting or subsequent meetings, you know, will unfold with this attorney. I see how he or she approaches, you know, this phase of my case, and I can really see myself being comfortable with, you know, this process and with this attorney. So keep that in mind. And honestly, it's amazing how, you know, we'll kind of see some of our subscribers, you know, a little stiff, a little nervous when they're reading scripts. And then we kind of transition into this interview style conversation, you know, discussion style interview, video shoot, you know, basically them recapping what they talk about every single day, and they really loosen up. It becomes more comfortable, and your personality and who you are as an attorney kind of really shines through. So keep that in mind as a really easy way of shooting those videos that don't require much additional visuals at the end.
I think that's a great tip, Cara, and it kind of reminds me of the difference between, being on stage and having to do a solo speech and having the podium in front of you and kind of gripping it and being nervous versus having a panel where someone's asking you questions, right? One feels like a lot less pressure. Okay, so again, the reason why we want to have compelling visuals is it creates a great impression and ensures the viewer watches the entire video. We want to make sure that if you're going to convey all this great information, that someone sticks around to watch it and takes the next step that we want them to take. So my fourth tip is actually maybe counterintuitive, but I like creating concise videos. And what I mean by that is, consider using a script, because people have short attention spans, are getting pulled in a lot of directions, and a short, concise video conveying information quickly and effectively is more memorable than a long, rambling one. So a script can help you stay on topic and ensure you have the most compelling video possible. And I'll add, consider also using editing, right? So we could shoot a long 30 minutes and then edit that into a bunch of short, compelling videos, or even a longer compelling video by pulling out some of the rambling parts, by saying, hey, this is the most compelling piece of this. And if we splice this piece with this piece and put them together, it's going to be really, really great. We want to make sure that we are considerate of our video viewers' time and that we give them as much information as possible in that short time span. I find editing can do wonders for a video, even if there's no script. And so adding in those visuals, pulling people's eyes to different text on the page, or using even a whiteboard, or dropping in a client testimonial. You can do a lot of really engaging things and convey the message you want to convey. There's a reason movies are scripted. There's a reason many interviews are scripted. I actually listened to something the other day, I think it was a podcast episode, that said, hey, all those talk show interviews, Jimmy Fallon, that sort of stuff, they're actually all pre-scripted ahead of time with stars, even though you think they're not, and they look really informal. And that's because they practice getting their message across in a really concise way. And I think it's important to remember the same thing for your videos. I also think a script can calm nerves, because you don't have to stress about what am I going to say. However, Cara also had a good point on using interviews. So either way, I would look at, how can I convey this information as quickly and concisely as possible? And is there any post-production editing that can make the video even more compelling by cutting out any extras that really don't contribute to the main message of the video? Cara, anything to say about that?
Well, Lauren, when we talk about brevity or kind of concise delivery, typically you can convey a large amount of information in a short amount of time with video in general, really, sort of compared to the written word, or, compared to a long, kind of drawn out email. So a lot of times, I suggest, even if you're looking to communicate something specific to one single client, why not just shoot a video and, send that to them. It could just be a 2 to 3 minute video max, and you'd be able to convey a lot of information that would require, honestly, paragraphs and paragraphs of the written word. So, I certainly agree, from the standpoint that Lauren's talking about, let's keep things concise. Let's keep things kind of tight and planned. There has to be a strategy. Don't just, hit record and think that it's going to be perfect, but kind of, dovetailing on that, just using video to communicate in general allows you to convey a whole lot of information, sometimes complex topics and issues, pretty concisely. And we talk about editing. Don't be obsessed with creating the perfect video, meaning, don't edit out those ums and ahs and those natural kind of missteps. Those really create authenticity. They really, it actually does the opposite, in my opinion. When you're when you're editing that kind of stuff out and making this perfect, sometimes robotic, video, and let yourself kind of naturally talk through this, even if it's a script that you're reading and you misspeak, no problem, just kind of go with it. If it's a mishap, obviously, you'll re-record that and slot that in, but don't become so obsessed that you never get it done, right? So, getting something out is much more important than, perfection, especially when it comes to video. And, I think it's important. That can be really hard for our attorney subscribers. I totally understand. But the more you do this, the better, more comfortable you'll get. I mean, that's the bottom line. Just doing it, just starting and practicing, just like anything else, will really help you kind of hone and refine your skill and really your comfort level, which is a big part of it. Oh, you're muted, Lauren.
I agree with you, especially about the ums, the ahs. We want to create a congruent experience on video to what someone's going to experience in person with you. I don't know about you, but if you've ever had an experience where someone presents one way online, but then you meet them and you're like, wow, this is two different people, like that just creates a break in the trust factor. And that's not what we're trying to do with the videos. And so feeling like you're a real person with some stumbles, I think can be important. And we don't want so many edits that a video never gets produced. So I really like that piece of advice. And I agree that producing consistent videos frequently is more important than getting the perfect video every quarter. And I will just answer Greg's question. We are sending out the replay. So if you joined in late, you will get a recording of this. Okay, so if you're not going to use a script, I would consider choosing wisely when this is appropriate. Is it a live interview? Is it a behind the scenes video? Is it a recorded interview? And even if that's a case, I would have bullets and or slides so you can stay on topic. Again, our whole purpose is to convey something effectively and in a compelling way to the viewer. And if there's not a through line in the video, if we don't understand what the main purpose of the video is, what the main message is that you're trying to get across, then it's just going to look like a really distracted, rambling video. So just understanding, okay, what is the message we're trying to share? What are the 3 points that I'm going to use to share that message? And then maybe some imagery that I'm going to use alongside it, I think is really important. And again, you can always record something and then edit any parts that aren't needed rather than trying to do too many takes of that same video. Mike or Cara, is there anything you guys are seeing when you guys are recording with Amplifier subscribers around how to get enough content to create a compelling video, even if there's not a script?
Mike is on a ton of video shoots. I'll let him chime in here.
Yeah, I think it's critical to kind of think, Cara mentioned this briefly, but the more you practice this kind of stuff, the better you're going to get at it. So the first couple times using a script is great. Then going into unscripted after you're comfortable, think about the questions you're asked by prospects, right? So even if you don't have a script, you have something in your head that's sort of a pre-prepared response to these types of normal questions, right? So whether you're doing something like answering those prospect questions, maybe you're showing a little bit more your personality, what happens, when you go to court, what happens when you're filing papers, right? Something like that, I think it is critical in terms of kind of demonstrating your personality without a script, while also coming off as not only authentic, but also knowledgeable in order to build the trust. So there's really a lot you can do within that unscripted sort of arena, I would say. And that's why we routinely work with our subscribers to sort of help them get to that point where they can be comfortable on camera and they can come into just a short 30-minute video session and end up recording enough footage for 3 or even 4 separate videos within that span. So practice makes perfect, and having a guide certainly doesn't help, or doesn't hurt, I should say.
Yeah, I like to think of the attorneys as the talent. Like, all you want to do is show up and record the video, where everyone else takes care of what should you say, the editing, the production, the distribution, because that really allows you to shine in the role that where you have the most expertise, and then hand off everything else to someone else so that you can focus on the things that only you can do. So I really like that advice of having a guide. So again, if you're wondering what kind of marketing videos you should create, I'd highly recommend checking out last marketing mentor session. Mike did drop in a link here in the chat, but we'll also make sure it's included along in the replay of this. But I did want to share a little more. Oops. If you're looking for help creating your marketing videos and you're thinking, wow, this sounds like a lot of work for just me to do, I'm looking for that guide, I'm looking for someone to help with production, I'm looking for someone to help with distribution, I'd love to let both Mike and Cara share a little bit more about what is included in James Amplifier's program. And I apologize, let me get that share going again.
Yeah, sure. So Lauren mentions our Marketing Amplifier program, which is really loaded with content and value, but a big piece of the program are these monthly custom videos. So how it works specifically is we schedule a regular monthly 30-minute shoot with you where you're jumping on Zoom, similar to what we're doing now, with one of our directors, with one of our video interviewers. Prior to that shoot, we're sending you scripts, talking points, example videos, again, kind of whatever level of support you need, we're providing. We're warming you up on that shoot with some casual conversation. We actually use those monthly shoots to provide account updates, make sure that you're getting as much out of the program as you can. And then we're launching into the scripts, either you're reading the scripts or you kind of talking through your talking points. And we're collecting all of the footage we need on that short 30-minute monthly shoot to deliver you 2 custom videos every single month. So we are literally doing everything else. Of course, we're editing, we're adding our slides, our content, and we're really distributing and posting and publishing these videos on your behalf. Of course, sharing them on your website, sharing them on social media, really getting those videos out any way that we can. We're really putting the videos and all of the content that you get included in the program, we're really putting it to work for you in some very specific ways. So it's very little time commitment required. And one of the feedback that we get all the time is just having that standing monthly video shoot. We ideally it's, same time, same day every month, right? The second Friday at 10 o'clock every month, that you have that time kind of blocked out, dedicated to just jump on a Zoom and shoot the videos, knock it out, and then you're, getting this growing collection of videos. And what are we shooting? So we're helping you answer common questions you get from prospects, common questions from clients, of course, helping you kind of outline past cases with maybe varying fact patterns or varying kind of transaction types, whatever kind of case you're looking to attract, we're helping you kind of outline those. We're doing those interview style videos that I mentioned, kind of the role play interview style videos. Recently, we also started shooting past client video testimonials for our subscribers. So if you have a past client you think would make for a great video testimonial, all you have to do is send us their contact information and we handle everything else. So we contact them on your behalf, jump on a 5-minute Zoom, ask some pointed questions to really pull out a compelling video testimonial that we edit and post. So then you have this really nice growing collection of past client video testimonials as well. So often the attorneys I talk to, these video testimonials are like marketing gold, but there's rarely kind of a system in place or any sort of kind of coordinated approach to make sure that, you're getting these on a regular basis. So that's kind of what we're helping you with in that area with that piece as well. So, custom videos is just one piece of the program. You also get whole pretty massive libraries of consumer books and booklets answering common questions. They range from a couple pages to 50 or 60 pages. We're also including a 100-page frequently asked question book, all branded. You know, everything's coming from you, everything's coming from the firm. Contact info, of course, logo, bio, headshot, colors, anything you want to do to customize the content, we work with you. And then you're licensing this content from us. So you're really free to use it in any way that you wish. We're adding this content as what we call lead magnets to your website, making sure that we're capturing those visitors to your site who are, you know, maybe not quite ready to book a consult, maybe not quite ready to give you a call, looking to gather more information, looking to kind of get their questions answered. So then we're serving them up an educational booklet, for instance, from you, and collecting that contact info. We're able to automatically, on your behalf, enter them into comprehensive educational drip nurturing sequences, obviously for your prospects, also welcoming your new clients on board, establishing that first impression, kind of combating any buyer's remorse that can sometimes set in. And then to complete that circle, that life cycle, we're really helping you stay in touch with those past clients with a monthly newsletter for referral purposes. So the program is super comprehensive. It really fills so many of those marketing gaps that we see with law firms. What we're offering is supplemental. It's really amplifying whatever other marketing you have going. We're not competing with your SEO agency, certainly, or, you know, perhaps your PPC company. We're strengthening and kind of, you know, bolstering up that effort so that, you know, all of those other campaigns perform at an even higher level. So super affordable price. It's $6.95 a month. And I'll tell you, I'm not just saying this, that price is not going to last. So, you know, really, if you're interested, just set an appointment with me. I think Mike shared my calendar in the chat. Just click that link. I mean, even if you just have questions, you know, we love talking about this stuff. So just set an appointment and we'll jump on a call, talk about your marketing, talk about how we might be able to help and you know, give you some feedback if nothing else. So let us know if you have any questions. The program does include, it's completely built out in 7 core specialties currently. So currently we offer the program for personal injury firms, estate planning, bankruptcy, business litigation, criminal defense, social security disability, as well as family law. Family law, I think I didn't say. So you know, if you're practicing in those areas, you know, we have the program fully built out and ready to go. So oh, thanks for sharing that again. Yeah, just click that link in the chat. I'd love to talk to you guys. And you know, we're very quickly in the pandemic, the video feature became our most popular element of the program. And that's why we're pouring so many of our resources, so much of our time and energy into expanding that video feature specifically. We're always adding kind of new categories as we get feedback from our attorneys or as we have ideas internally. We're adding new categories, new types of videos, new ways of kind of conveying the information, providing new options and scripts. So, you know, as our subscriber, you just automatically gain access and you know, benefit from those additions as our subscriber. So I know I went through that pretty quickly. There's a lot more to the program, but let us know if you do have any questions. You know, certainly it's a comprehensive program.
Yeah, and I'm going to answer some of the questions that are here in the chat, but I will just highlight if you have specific, like how can I use video to amplify my marketing, or what should I do in this specific specialty, or what kind of videos should I add to what I'm already creating? Like, that's a great question to have one-on-one with Caro, and she can evaluate all of your marketing strategies together. And like, we are seeing video perform really well. And improve the results of PPC, of SEO. YouTube's a big channel when it comes to SEO. So just think about, hey, if I'm thinking about creating video, but I don't want to do all the work of scripting, editing, and distribution, then I would consider booking an appointment to talk to Cara and say, how can we take that off your plate while making video as easy as possible for you? Okay, so Lynn is asking, how do you speak to the camera in a natural way? And Mike, maybe you have some ideas here since you are doing so many of those shoots.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring up Lynn's question. I saw it sitting there. I was wondering if we would get to it. So, yeah, like I mentioned during my short discussion about sort of unscripting, you'll have a guide if you come onto our program. The reason that we interact with our subscribers in this way is to help them become natural on camera. No one, I think, is being able to look into a webcam and just deliver naturally, right? This is something that comes over time. So number one, have someone to help you get comfortable, someone to role play with you, even in your office. Maybe it's an assistant or someone who helps sort of get that Zoom feeling going. And then I would say another thing too is that don't think that you need to be on camera for the entire time you're filming a video. We discussed a little bit about editing, but the reason that we talk about editing is because you're not going to be able to memorize a 10 to 20 minute script and then pull out all this stuff, right? So think about an introduction, right? Introduce who you are, what you're about. Then maybe you continue talking, but you're covering up that portion with stock footage or motion graphics, quotes that you're pulling out. So don't feel like you need to speak to the camera for 5 minutes at a time. Think about the first 30 seconds, then read a script or think about something you prepared. Maybe you can pop up a couple times during the video for another 1 or 2 sentences, but you don't need to be a full-blown natural at this in order to make a compelling video.
I think that's really great advice. So there were some questions on how do you choose topics based on your specialty, and there's a couple examples here. So one is immigration, the other is wealth preservation planning, business succession planning, estate and trust administration.
Well, I just think that unfortunately we don't cover immigration or tenant landlord. I noticed that was another one. So otherwise I'd be able to kind of give you some specifics, but really just think about those questions that you get answered, or that you get asked all the time, that you have to answer all the time, right? I mean, that is such a great way to start. Better than anyone those questions that you get, and that's how you provide value immediately. That's really what I would recommend. Just sit down, take 20 minutes, jot down a list, and each one of those question and answer combinations, each one can be a separate video. So I love when attorneys have maybe, a dedicated laptop or a dedicated system, maybe in the corner of their office where they just always have their webcam and their light and their, their mic ready to go. And anytime they hear a question that, like, yes, I've got that 3 times this week, they just go sit down, hit record and answer that question. Then you have a great video. So don't really overthink the topic selection process. It's, better than anyone, the type of questions that your prospects and that your new clients have, and just answer those. I mean, that would be, I know it seems like maybe I'm simplifying it, but it really is, that easy, and that's how you provide the value, because you're not really determining that, right? You're getting that feedback, you're getting those questions directly from your clients and your prospects. So just, keep a list of those and start answering them.
And I'd say even talking about your process and what people can expect when they interact with you goes a long way. It really builds trust. People know upfront before they work with you, here are the steps that are going to happen after I sign on. Here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3. So I think that's another great place to start if you're really feeling like I'm stuck and I'm not sure what to talk about. Okay, I just want to make sure I got everyone's questions here. So bear with me as I just scroll through the chat. Feel free to drop any other questions you have below. Oh, there's a question around what is ethically allowed for an attorney, and I'm not sure I fully understand this question, but Cara or Mike, maybe you guys do.
Yeah, I mean, generally, you're steering clear of, first of all, let me say, every state has specific bar rules, right? And we always say, double check with your local bar, but in general, you're providing educational content, right? Educational material, you're answering questions. We're not talking about, traditional kind of advertising here, right? I mean, so anything that we've talked about, I mean, is so far away from any sort of like legal boundaries. You wouldn't, have to worry about that, but, always safe to double check.
And Cara, you actually shared in our last session a really great idea, which was kind of jumping on a hot topic. So let's say there's a case that's getting national news that's within your specialty. You can kind of jump on, record a video on your take on it. Maybe you could share a little more about that too.
Yeah, that's a great point, Lauren. I mean, it's like, what do you talk about? What's going on in the news? What is everyone already talking about? Hop on, shoot a video, either kind of your take on it, maybe some commentary, or how you would handle a case similar to that, right? So it gives some insight into your approach and your, kind of your process as an attorney. But then, you're sort of capitalizing on a trending topic and something that is already on the minds of many of, your prospects. We had a subscriber who wanted to talk about the Britney Spears conservatorship issue. So, that kind of stuff is really great for social media. It's another kind of low prep topic. So, once in a while, kind of sprinkling that stuff in makes sense. Or if you don't have a lot of past cases, maybe you're just starting out, or maybe you just kind of pivoted into a new area of practice and you just don't have much past cases to talk about hypotheticals or talk about similar cases in the news and how you would handle those. So that is a really easy topic and kind of category of video to kind of fill that. You want to have a variety, right? So that is a good category.
That's wonderful. So I think we may have answered all the questions. So I just want to let you guys know we are going to be doing another educational marketing session in October. I am dropping the date and the time in the chat for you. We will also send reminders and send out notices. The topic is to be announced, but if there's anything you want to hear about specifically, I would love to see that in the chat. And if not, we really appreciate your time today. We will be sending out the recording pretty soon here and within a couple hours, as soon as it populates and it's ready for you guys. So I can't wait to see some of the videos you guys are producing. If you have questions about video marketing, definitely hop on with Cara or Mike. They both have a lot of great guidance.
Thanks, Lauren. Great session. Thanks, everyone. See you soon.
Bye.